She didn't wait for you. She stepped in first. And in that quiet moment, before your brain caught up, she told you a truth most men are never taught how to hear. As a psychologist, I want you to understand something uncomfortable right away. Women rarely lead with physical closeness by accident. A hug initiated by her isn't just warmth or politeness, it's a calculated emotional signal shaped by safety, desire, and subconscious testing. Men are taught to chase, to initiate, to escalate. So when a woman reverses that script, your nervous system should pay attention, not with ego, with awareness. When a woman hugs you first, she's answering a question you didn't know she'd been asking herself. Do I feel safe enough with this man to enter his space? That decision is filtered through years of emotional memory, past disappointments, and instinctive threat assessment. This is not romantic fantasy. This is biology and psychology working together. Her body moves before her words do. Most men misread this moment because they rush to label it. She's just friendly. She hugs everyone. Those phrases are emotional anesthesia. They numb you to what's actually happening. Here's the truth. Women do not give their bodies access equally. They ration closeness based on trust, curiosity, and how a man makes them feel internally. Not what he says, not what he looks like, but how regulated and grounded he is in her presence. A hug initiated by her often means she has already placed you in a category that matters. Not necessarily romantic yet, but potential. And potential is dangerous territory if you don't know how to hold it, because this is where most men self-sabotage. They either overinflate the moment, turning it into a fantasy that leaks out as neediness, or they dismiss it entirely, failing to meet the emotional tone she just set. What she's really revealing is this. She feels a sense of emotional permission with you. Permission to be close without losing control. Permission to test how you respond when she leads. Women are constantly watching how men handle subtle power shifts. When she initiates the hug, she's temporarily holding the lead. Your response, your posture, your breath, your timing tells her whether you're emotionally mature or internally chaotic. And no, this is not about squeezing harder or holding longer. It's about containment. Can you stay present without grabbing for more? Can you receive without taking? Can you remain calm without freezing? The male nervous system often spikes in these moments, flooding the body with adrenaline. She feels that immediately. Women are exquisitely sensitive to emotional states beneath the surface. Here's what most men don't want to hear. The hug is not the message. Your response to it is. If you tense up, she registers insecurity. If you collapse into it, she registers hunger. If you treat it like nothing happened, she registers emotional blindness. But if you meet it with grounded warmth, relaxed shoulders, steady breath, a brief pause before release, you communicate something rare, emotional leadership, without force. This is why some men get second hugs and others don't. Not because of looks, not because of status, but because they know how to stay centered when a woman opens the door first. In that moment, she's not asking you to chase her. She's asking a quieter, more dangerous question. Can this man handle intimacy without losing himself? And most men answer that question without ever realizing they were being tested. Now here's where the psychology gets sharper, and where men either rise or quietly disqualify themselves. When a woman hugs you first, she's not only expressing comfort, she's observing how you regulate emotion in real time. Women are constantly scanning for emotional stability because instability has historically meant danger, unpredictability, or emotional labor they don't want to carry. So in that brief physical connection, her subconscious is collecting data. She's feeling your chest, your breathing, your pace. Is your body calm, or is it vibrating with suppressed urgency? This matters more than any line you've ever practiced. Most men think attraction is built by adding something, more confidence, more dominance, more flirtation. But in moments like this, attraction is built by not leaking anxiety, not leaking expectation, not leaking fantasy. Emotional leakage is the fastest way to collapse a woman's curiosity. A hug initiated by her often means she's stepping into uncertainty on purpose. She doesn't yet know what you'll do with access, and access to a woman is always paired with risk. That's why her body is asking the question her mouth won't. Is this man safe to get closer to without me losing control of myself? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many men turn a simple hug into an unconscious negotiation. They try to lock it in. They hold too long. They tighten slightly. They angle their body to imply more. And while they think they're being subtle, her nervous system reads it instantly as pressure. Not aggression, pressure. And pressure kills desire because it removes choice. The men who stand out do the opposite. They allow the hug to be exactly what it is. No more, no less. They don't chase meaning. They don't need reassurance. They don't turn the moment into a performance. Their calm signals abundance. And abundance, psychologically, is deeply attractive because it suggests options, self-trust, and inner fullness. This is where many men get confused. They think leadership means escalation, but emotional leadership often means restraint. When she initiates the hug and you don't rush to escalate, you flip the script in a powerful way. You communicate without words. I'm not trying to take from you. I'm choosing whether to move closer. That creates polarity, not dominance, polarity. She feels feminine not because you pushed, but because you didn't need to. And that feeling lingers far longer than the hug itself. Another layer most men miss. Sometimes a woman hugs first to test emotional boundaries, not attraction. She's checking whether you'll confuse kindness for entitlement. This happens especially with emotionally intelligent women who've learned that men often overinterpret access. When you respond with composure instead of assumption, you pass a test most men don't even see. And passing that test changes how she categorizes you in her mind. You move from potential problem to emotionally safe, from nice enough to interesting, from background noise to someone she watches more closely. This doesn't mean every hug leads to romance, but every hug initiated by her is information. It's feedback. It's an invitation to show who you are under subtle pressure. And women care far more about how you handle subtle pressure than how you perform under obvious circumstances. If you understand this, you stop chasing signs and start embodying the qualities women respond to naturally. Calm, presence, self-containment, and those traits don't just attract hugs, they attract trust, desire, and deeper connection over time. Most men never learn this because no one teaches them to listen when a woman speaks without words. Let's go deeper, because this is where the hug stops being about her and starts being about you. When a woman hugs you first, she's momentarily stepping into vulnerability, not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind, the kind where she allows her body to move closer without knowing exactly how she'll feel afterward. And what happens next leaves an imprint. That imprint decides whether closeness with you feels grounding or costly. Here's what most men don't realize. Women remember how a man made them feel in transitions more than in peaks. Not the kiss, not the date highlight, but the in-between moments where things could tip either way. The hug is one of those transitions. It's a doorway, and doorways reveal character. If, after the hug, you rush to fill the silence, she feels emotional pressure. If you immediately seek validation through jokes, teasing, or forced confidence, she feels responsible for your emotional state. And the moment she feels responsible, attraction quietly drains. Because desire thrives where there is freedom, not obligation. A regulated man lets the moment breathe. He allows a half-second of stillness after the hug ends. That pause tells her your world doesn't collapse or spike based on her behavior. It tells her you're anchored. And anchoring is magnetic because it offers something rare: emotional rest. This is especially important to understand in modern dating, where many women are exhausted by men who are reactive. Reactive to texts, reactive to attention, reactive to perceived signals. When you respond to a hug with emotional neutrality, not indifference but steadiness, you separate yourself from the majority without saying a word. Here's another truth men rarely hear. Some women hug first when they're trying to feel you out emotionally, not physically. They're sensing whether you'll confuse emotional warmth with sexual entitlement. When a man does, she pulls back. When he doesn't, curiosity grows. Curiosity is the seed of attraction. Not certainty, not clarity, curiosity. And curiosity requires space. By not rushing to define the hug, you preserve that space. This is also why men who ask, "What did that hug mean?" often miss the point. Meaning isn't something you extract. It's something that unfolds based on how you show up next. Your behavior after the hug matters more than the hug itself. Are you still grounded, still respectful, still self-directed? Women are watching for consistency, not perfection. They're asking themselves, is this how he always is, or was that an act? And consistency is what builds trust over time. From a psychological standpoint, attraction strengthens when a woman feels she can approach without being consumed, that her softness won't be exploited or misunderstood. When you demonstrate that through restraint and calm presence, you create safety. And safety is not the opposite of desire. It's the container that allows desire to grow without fear. This doesn't mean you suppress interest. It means you don't bleed it out uncontrollably. Interest expressed too early feels like pressure. Interest expressed with timing feels like choice. Most men think they lose opportunities by not pushing forward. In reality, they lose them by pushing too fast. The men who win long-term are the ones who understand pacing, not as a strategy, but as an internal state. When a woman hugs you first, she's given you a moment of access. What you do with that access tells her whether deeper access will feel safe or stressful. And once a woman associates a man with emotional stress, no amount of attraction can override it. But when she associates you with calm, clarity, and grounded energy, she finds herself wanting to step closer again, often without fully understanding why. That's how real connection builds, quietly, gradually, without force. Now let's bring this home, because this is where awareness turns into power. If a woman hugs you first, she has already decided you are not a threat. That alone puts you ahead of most men. But what separates forgettable from unforgettable is what you do next in life, not just in that moment. Because women don't fall for moments, they fall for patterns. She's watching how you move after closeness. Do you remain centered in your mission, your purpose, your direction? Or does her warmth become the emotional highlight of your day? Women feel that shift instantly. When a man's energy starts orbiting her, attraction fades. Not because she's cruel, but because polarity collapses. Here's a truth that may sting. The men women respect most are the ones who don't need constant emotional reassurance. Not because they're cold, but because they are internally fulfilled. A hug from her adds to their life. It doesn't become the source of it. This is why emotional self-sufficiency is so powerful. When you are already whole, her closeness feels like a choice, not a rescue. And women are drawn to men who choose them, not men who need them to feel complete. Psychologically, this activates something deep. A woman begins to feel safe exploring attraction when she senses that the man won't collapse if she pulls back, and won't overstep if she moves closer. That balance is rare, and rarity creates value. Now ask yourself honestly, when she hugged you, what happened inside you? Did your chest tighten? Did your mind race ahead? Did you start imagining outcomes? Or did you stay present, relaxed, and grounded? Your internal reaction tells you more about your readiness for a healthy connection than any signal she could give you. This is the equation I want you to sit with. Closeness plus calm ars trust. Closeness plus need ars pressure. Women move toward trust and away from pressure every single time. If you want to become the kind of man women naturally feel drawn to, stop hunting for signs and start building emotional regulation. Learn to hold warmth without grasping. Learn to receive without chasing. Learn to stay solid when attention comes your way. That's not a dating trick. That's psychological strength. And here's the part most men overlook. When you master this, women don't just hug you first, they lean in emotionally, open up, and invest without being asked. because you feel like a place where their nervous system can rest. Before you go, I want you to answer this honestly in the comments. When a woman shows you warmth, do you stay grounded or do you start reaching for more? Write your answer below. If this message clarified something you felt but couldn't explain, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this right now.